Good evening, everyone. Now, to be completely honest, this is my third trying to shoot this video, and I don't know why, but within 3 to 5 minutes, I feel this major block that I have to just completely cut the video out and start over. You all know that I never edit my videos, right? It's always uploaded as is from beginning to the end. So I had already pulled out my Energy Oracle cards deck. I was guided to start with this today. And the Healer of the Ages card was the first one that flew out. And as I began channeling the messages, I felt a major throat chakra block that, I was like fighting to get my words out. It just wasn't coming out right. And then I couldn't formulate what I was trying to say. And that is a huge sign to me that some in the Twin Flame Collective are really struggling with this exact same thing. And this might very well be the reason why you are not seeing movement in the 3D right now. That there is someone, your divine counterpart, whether it is the masculine or the feminine, who is getting ready to reach out to you to, I just heard, ask for help. So it could be that, your divine counterpart might be needing help. They could be needing help getting out of a karmic situation. They may be needing help in, some way, shape, or form, whether it's emotional support, whether it's finance, whatever it is. But somebody is trying to reach out for help and they get so close to doing it. And for whatever reason, they just feel a sudden blockage that wasn't there when they were preparing to talk to you. But as soon as there was about to be a transference of communication, that block arises and doesn't allow them to complete the dial or to hit send on the message or, whatever it is that might be happening. I'm very strongly channeling this block because like I said, it took me 3 tries to get this far in the video. So the Healer of the Ages coming out as the first card, and karmic connections, I said karmic connections. This is carrying connections, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to figure out why Spirit had me say karmic connections in a minute here. This card being at the bottom of the deck tells me that something that used to be a block or an obstacle to overcome in this twin flame connection is what's healing. This divine masculine or divine feminine, whoever it is that's trying to reach out for help here, I do feel a strong masculine energy. And for anyone who might be new here, just to reiterate, masculine and feminine have nothing to do with your biological gender. They are simply energies. I use pronouns like he or she so that the reading makes sense, but other than that, it has nothing to do with gender. So take that as it resonates. There is definitely a strong masculine energy that's trying to come through and ask for help from the feminine, and they just are not able to. But this throat chakra block here is exactly what's healing. Okay, Spirit just had me download why I said karmic connection. This masculine had a huge throat chakra block when it came to speaking his truth to a karmic situation that he was in. And because that's what's healing, it seems right now the energy is showing that the masculine has to first speak his truth to this karmic connection or situation that had been an obstacle before he will be able to do so with his feminine. And this is for the divine protection, for the sake of this twin flame union. Right underneath the Caring Connections card is cornucopia, which is total wish fulfillment in this deck. This is, the card of, this is like your 10 of Cups. This is your Star card. This is the card that you want to get if you ask, is your wish going to be fulfilled? The answer is yes. There's a strong yes here that the obstacles to union are very successfully and divinely being overcome. And because this is a divinely guided and protected connection, the masculine in this circumstance is being guided to really tie up the loose ends in his life the right way. He's being guided to speak his truth to the person that had been, I'm hearing Spirit say, holding him hostage. So it may very well have felt like this masculine was being held hostage by this situation. That there were some expectations of him from a karmic connection that, you know, there would be, that he needs to first rectify or put to rest before he can come back to his feminine. And the reason for that is so that he doesn't bring in the negative karma for either misleading somebody or, you know, leaving somebody hanging in that type of a situation and then just moving on to somebody else, which would cause major, you know, heartbreak, pain, emotional suffering, and it just wouldn't be right. So because the separation phase between twin flames is for the sake of healing union karma, the divine tries to make sure in every way possible that there is no more negative karma carried into this twin flame connection, so that the negative karma of, you know, misleading a karmic connection from the past doesn't carry over and create future obstacles for the twin flames who are about to come into union. So think about that deeply. That is a very deep message that's coming through here. I'm going to use my little mini tarot deck here to see, the 8 of Cups. This masculine has to leave this karmic connection. This is going to be the card for me that represents the karmic connection for this reading now. It's carrying that energy extremely strongly. So the 8 of Cups signifies that this has to be put to rest. This has to be left behind completely in order for wish fulfillment to happen. We got the 9 of Cups, you guys. This emotional releasing has to be done by both parties, the divine masculine and this karmic feminine or person that in this situation that I'm channeling here. This has to be completely left behind in order for this wish fulfillment, this cornucopia, to be brought in. Let's take a look at what else might be happening here. And notice how all of these are blue. If you see the blue edges on my little mini tarot deck, blue is for the throat chakra. And that is exactly what's healing, is this masculine's throat chakra. Anything else from this deck, Spirit? King of Pentacles. So it seems like this masculine had kind of been in avoidance of having to speak his truth by throwing himself into work. I'm hearing that certain masculines were actually planning that as soon as they were, you know, financially in a place where they could just move on, they would just do it suddenly. And that's exactly what Spirit wants this masculine to heal. He wants this masculine, Spirit wants this masculine to be able to speak his truth to everybody. This is part of his ascension. He can't just look for his own stability and then, you know, do things without taking other people into consideration and the impact that those actions would have. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords, which is all about communication. This is about making breakthroughs in communication, and it's also about getting the clarity that you need in order to make those breakthroughs. It's about, I'm seeing a two-edged sword in my third eye. So what that means to me is that it goes both ways. You need to communicate to have the breakthrough, but you also need to have the breakthrough in order to communicate. And it seems like both of these things are kind of gonna be happening at the same time. We have the Knight of Cups at the bottom of, underneath this Ace of Swords, which tells me the Knight of Cups is a very romantic card. It's a card of taking romantic action. And that romantic action can only be taken after this communication barrier is cut. There is a barrier of communication between the karmic and the masculine, as far as the masculine speaking his truth and allowing the karmic to no longer expect anything from him, to just know where he stands so she can also move on. And this is also the barrier that has to be broken between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because I do get the sense that there isn't communication in a lot of these situations that I'm channeling right now. These twin flame connection situations. I'm gonna pull from the Star Codes Astro Oracle and see kind of what the cosmic energy is going to contribute to this. Straight away, we have fire sign Sagittarius, expand. Immediately I saw the World card in my third eye. And ironically enough, the World card is all about growth, expansion, and cycle completion. So let's take a look in the guidebook and see what this card means. And number 9, angel number 999, is also all about completion. And this is the number 9 card. Sagittarius asks us to think big, travel far, and use our restlessness and curiosity to create. A mutable fire sign, Sagittarius' symbol is that of the centaur, half human, half horse, which epitomizes the connection between humans and the natural world. Sagittarius, ruled by expansive Jupiter, rules the thighs, the muscles that propel our movement. The sun shines in Sagittarius November 22nd through December 21st. It has 2 imperatives: expand your perspective and humbly speak your truth. You guys, this is so beautiful. Yes, the divine masculine has to expand his own perspective here to speak his truth in order to bring balance, not only to his twin flame connection, but to also scale out and eliminate the karmic connection that no longer serves him anymore. And this doesn't have to be anything romantic at this time with the karmic connection. It could have been in the past, and it feels like that's pretty much over. But for whatever reason, this karmic feminine that I'm channeling seems to have some kind of hope or expectation to fix things and to continue a connection, which this masculine is absolutely sure in his mind and heart that he does not and cannot handle. He does not want and he cannot handle. So this Libra balance card to me is speaking about scaling out and eliminating this karmic connection, removing that false sense of hope from that karmic feminine, and pushing her to move forward towards her own healing and happiness so he can move forward towards his healing and happiness, which is union with his divine feminine counterpart. And then underneath that, look what we had: conjunction, alliance. The alliance of the twin flames. This is such beautiful energy, and I feel like this energy is exactly what is gaining momentum right now. This is what the collective masculine and feminine are being pushed towards, so that they can bring about a greater sense of harmony in collective consciousness, you know, not just in their own connections, not just in their own twin flame connections, but just the collective consciousness in general. Let's pull a couple more energy oracle cards and see. There's one. Woman holding a coin. The thinking man. Yes, the thinking man is the divine masculine, kind of in his headspace. I picture the Hanged Man card from traditional tarot to symbolize what the thinking man means here in this deck. And the woman holding a coin is my karmic feminine card. So this is exactly what stands between union right now energetically. Because what I'm getting is that romantic involvement ended a long time ago. But for whatever reason, could be for financial security, could be for self-worth, and just kind of like for the sake of wearing a false mask for societal status. And it doesn't have to be for society in general. I feel like it's more about workspace issues, like, you know, having that status in the workspace, that this fake face was being held up. But at the same time, here we have the man holding a coin, right? This is the divine masculine who was just in his headspace in the past, now stepping fully into his power, stepping into his own stability, realizing his own self-worth, that this karmic feminine had been crushing for a really long time through emotional manipulation and through kind of wielding. I'm seeing in my third eye, I'm being shown somebody like wielding a sword over somebody's head as a statement of having power over them, because, you know, like, I am allowing you, you're only alive right now because I'm letting you live. I'm holding the sword over your head. I could chop your head off whenever I want, type of deal. And that's kind of what it feels like was happening in this twin flame connection that I'm channeling, where this karmic feminine was holding this coin that she has in her hand, this money symbol, status, wealth, whatever it was, wielding it over this masculine's head and saying that everything you have is because of me, and you're pretty much nothing without me. And this masculine was believing that because he was so dependent in a lot of ways on this feminine, that he just would be giving in to codependency and toxicity in his life. And I feel like this masculine is really awakening. In my third eye, I'm seeing somebody like a caveman that's been in a cave finally waking up and seeing sunlight after it feels like years. And you know, it's like really bright and the sun is in his eyes, but he's realizing the sunshine is like really to the subatomic level, almost magnifying all of these toxicities that the masculine had been tolerating in his life. And he lost so much time. He lost so many years of his life putting up with that because of his lack of sense of self-worth, his lack of self-love, and a lack of understanding of what was going on around him, you know, like what psychological games this karmic feminine, and for some possibly even her allies, were playing with him. So it's a lot to digest for this masculine right now, is what it feels like. It is a lot to internalize and sort through and process, because he has to process everything that's coming up in order to figure out what the next right move is for him, which Spirit is showing that the next right move for him is to unblock his throat chakra, to speak his truth, to scale out and eliminate this karmic connection that is not serving him, that is actually draining him of his life force, and allowing himself to then move forward towards divine union with his divine feminine counterpart, who is waiting with open arms. Spirit, what other deck do you want me to use? I'm going to go for the Before Tarot. I also have the After Tarot here. So typically I do use these two together. What other messages can we channel? What else do we need to know? 10 of Cups. Yeah. But do you see how it's storming and these people are running? So this Before Tarot is giving us like the scenario of the past for this masculine and the karmic feminine, where there was this illusion that both were under, and they were kind of on different pages in the same way. So for example, what they thought was their happily ever after, what they thought was a soulmate, you know, we can carry on, you know, this connection. In the past, what actually turned out to be a rainstorm, right? What they thought they were running out of the rain and into a shelter, they were actually like jumping from the pot into the fire. And that's what this karmic connection turned out to be. It was really misguided. It was really a big kind of, you know, misunderstanding within themselves of their own feelings, of their own, of each other, and of what the future of this connection would look like. I feel like people around the masculine were probably trying to warn him, especially like friends and family, of how this connection would never serve him, and it was a big mistake. And the masculine was thinking, well, everything just seems like it's falling into place right now. Like it just seemed like a good idea at the time, you know, like it's going to give me shelter from this rain. But instead he went from water into the fire, and he realized that being rained on was a lot better than getting burnt, because water doesn't hurt you, fire will. And here we have the Seven of Pentacles. So now, you know, or back then I should say, there was also a lot of slow moving, anxious energy. I feel like this masculine that I'm channeling might have been a people pleaser. He might just have had codependent tendencies from the get-go due to, you know, a low self-esteem or a lack of self-worth. Here we have the Devil card. It was a lot of toxic attachments that this masculine had, because he never had a healthy sense of self-love, and he never had a healthy sense of his self-worth, and he couldn't differentiate when somebody was manipulating him into a trap versus what true love actually was. And for some masculines in this collective who will resonate, I feel like they had been heartbroken by what they thought was love so many times in the past that they kind of stopped believing in it and started to attract connections with a closed heart space. So it turned out to be just more kind of based on lust and toxicity than any kind of actual love. And that's kind of what the divine feminine's entrance into this masculine's life brought to the forefront, is what this masculine felt so deeply and intensely for his feminine, he never felt for anybody before. And it scared him. He didn't know what to do with it. Two of Pentacles, you guys. Look at that. It's like this guy reaching up and trying to balance those two pentacles and saying, is this love? Is it not love? Should I go for it? Do I run from it? You know, it's like this elastic band holding these two pentacles has expanded out so far that now it has to snap back together, where this masculine has to be able to now put two and two together and realize what was lust, what is love, what does dependency look like, what does true support look like, you know, and what does attracting connections from a closed heart space look like, because you're trying to protect yourself from fear versus opening your heart and allowing yourself to feel the emotions, the healing that brings up. The masculines are really gaining their inner strength now in this collective. They are, I'm hearing, getting their ducks in a row. I heard a masculine step in to say, I'm learning to see things like I never saw them before. And this is very, very true. This entire perspective shift for this collective of masculines is a very new thing, because they had been so set in their ways and in their belief systems that they just didn't see how they could ever change from that. Yeah, this Two of Cups here was a choice that the masculine had. See this Venus energy up here of, are you going to attract based on love or attract based on lust and desire? So the choice that the masculine made in the past is what this card represents. And the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck tells me it was huge self-deception when they chose the karmic feminine in the past. They were deceiving themselves about what love is all about and what they're actually looking for and what that connection even was. It was basically like a subconscious, subliminal attraction to their own wounds projected out in the form of another person to re-trigger them again into another cycle of purging, healing, realizing, right? They deceived themselves into a very toxic connection, and now they're regretting it. That wish fulfillment was like, I gotta fill my own cups now because this relationship isn't fulfilling me. I chose this past karmic connection because of a void that I had inside me, and I thought that it would fill these cups for me, but I'm realizing that I have to fill it myself. And the more that I fill it myself, I realize that it's my divine feminine where my true fulfillment lies, and nobody else can ever take that place or fill that gap, ever. And this is what he wants to come towards the feminine and communicate. He actually, for some, might even show up unexpected at the doorstep to express this news. And this Eight of Wands is extremely fast-moving energy, so this is the restlessness that the masculine feels in wanting to express himself and his love to his divine feminine, because it's getting harder every second to hold it in. And if you see this cloud, it's kind of like taking the form of a lizard here, which is showing that the masculine is still being sneaky about you know, his plans and how he's feeling. He's not really letting anyone in. If they see through him, then they see through him, but other than that, if they can't see through this reptilian mask that he has on, then nobody would even know what is going on for this masculine inside, the turmoil that he's actually in. Now let's take it to the after tarot and see what other messages need to come through. I'll put this away first. But these are extremely strong messages coming through. This is big healing that's taking place in the collective. The divine masculine collective is healing, but so is the feminine. The feminines are ascending in a way that they never did before. They feel a sense of peace that they haven't felt before. It's like the sense of peace with intermittent, tumultuous moments where they have a hard time listening to their intuition over their ego or their fears, but always deep down, they know. They know what the truth is. They know that he's coming back. And the divine feminines know that no matter what, everything and everyone else is a burden to this masculine. And she's the only one who can truly give him peace. My crystals are flying. Look at that. 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and the Devil. You guys, the karmic connection that was a burden has now reached completion. It shows up in energy first, and then it shows up in the 3D later, which this tells me that literally any time this year, this conversation can take place. This is what I'm getting with this devil energy here, is that it's going to be extremely sudden. Like, you're not going to see this coming, and you're just kind of being asked to continue to focus on yourself, you know, look away kind of, because bottom of the deck, you guys, the Hierophant, this commitment, this offer, this long-term relationship that's going to give you and your connection a name in the 3D is coming your way. Your masculine is completing this cycle of putting down his burdens and releasing this toxicity that had been holding him hostage for so long, that now, just now, he's gaining insights into, you know, was actually there for his entire life. And he's saddened by how much time he's lost in this circumstance, in this situation, this strong desire to end that cycle, to make sure that he never, ever, ever goes through that again, is taking place. Here we have the Fool card. And this tells me that this is what he's being liberated from. This Fool is the masculine being liberated from these burdens, from this toxicity, from this false sense of being restricted. He's finally finding his escape. This is like his higher self coming in to cut him open. This soul level realization that it took so long to achieve, but hey, it's better now than never, right? Progress is being made. King of Pentacles. And he is going to have that stability that he so desires. Work is not going to be a distraction for him anymore. Look, we have the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Work used to be something that the masculine used to throw himself into in order to distract from the pain of his circumstances, of his situation, and of separation from the feminine for the time being. But now it's something that he's going to be doing for the sake of his feminine, to be able to provide for her, to be able to give her that romantic love that is her right, that has always belonged to her and nobody else. This King of Pentacles is taking on a whole new meaning. It's the masculine finally feeling confident and stable enough in himself to be able to say, I've got you and I've got this. Don't worry. I want to give you the world. See how this man is handing her the world. I've made my choice, and my choice is you, beautiful divine feminine. You're all I've ever wanted, and you're all that I want. I want to give you my love in all its entirety. This is the outcome. This is what you're manifesting. What was in the 5D is now coming down into the 3D. I'm really feeling this imminent energy. So for those of you who identify with this wave of twin flames that are resonating with this reading, this energy is very, very imminent. And remember, because time is fluid, that doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. But that means that in the background, every second, something is happening to bring it down into the 3D. It will come here. There's nowhere else for it to go. This divine love that I'm channeling is one that has to materialize into the 3D. I feel it so strongly. It's like a punch in the gut in a good way. That feeling you get in your stomach when you just know something is coming, like you don't know when it's gonna come, but you know it's coming and you know it's close. That is a beautiful message with some great news, you guys. So I hope that helps. I hope it resonated. I'm going to close this reading out by channeling a Rumi poem for this connection. And I think we have it. Sacred Convergence, the number 11 card. And look at this. From nothing to everything at the bottom of the deck. You guys, this gives me goosebumps in a really, really good way. This energy is really beautiful, and the fact that the number 11 card came out for this, you know what I say, there's no such thing as coincidences. That's definitely a message in the numbers too. Roaming about town, the master was holding a light, saying, I am weary of the demons and the beasts. A human is what I am longing for. The human cannot be found. We have searched. What cannot be found is what I am longing for. Although poor and needy, I will not accept small pieces of ruby. The mine of the finest rubies is what I am longing for. One hand holding a cup of wine and the other the curls of the beloved. A dance like this in the middle of the circle is what I am longing for. That line really hit me. Although poor and needy, I will not accept small pieces of ruby. The mine of the finest rubies is what I am longing for. If you remember, in the Energy Oracle cards deck, we had the Karmic Feminine as the woman holding a coin card, and I had said that she was kind of wielding this sword, or this metaphorical sword over the masculine's head, saying that, you know, I hold the key to all your resources. You're pretty much what you are because of me. Now the masculine has finally awakened enough to say that I'm not afraid of releasing this false sense of security, because I want the entire mine. I don't want just these little tiny, you know, chips of ruby, when I can have the real thing and the whole thing, which is my divine feminine. And I know I have to give up this false sense of security with this karmic in order to get my divine feminine. And this is absolutely beautiful. I see this masculine kind of like in a ship, and he can't fully see the land on the horizon. He kind of feels like he's in the middle of the ocean here, and it feels like he's got, you know, a ways to go, but he's got his bearings now. He's got his directions. He is willing to boat his way to the shore and then build a bridge to his feminine. He will walk, he will swim, he will go on a boat. I even heard a divine masculine step in to say, I would ride on a shark if I had to get across this ocean to you. He's determined. He is absolutely way more motivated than he had ever been. I see angels. I see one angel especially in particular holding this masculine's hand and leading the way, because he is so loyal and faithful to his divine feminine that every move he makes, he thinks about how it would affect her. What would the outcome be? How would she feel? I live and breathe only for you is what I heard. I would give my life for you, I heard a masculine step in to say. He doesn't care what storms are brewing around him anymore. He avoids what he can for self-preservation, but there's absolutely nothing more important to him than getting back to his divine feminine. Just the thought of being together with her again is what keeps him going. Just the thought of that possibility of union that he had thought he lost in the past, but that came back as like a divine gift for him. He's determined to hold on to it. His divine feminine is like this precious treasure that he never thought he would find in his life, but now that he has, he's so possessive that he wants to make sure nobody can ever take this precious treasure, his divine feminine, away from him ever again. And he wants to make sure that he is never the cause of that either. You flow through my blood like the cells that make it up, is what I'm hearing. Every creature in the universe points the direction to you, points my way back to you. The universe is my compass. This is such beautiful energy, you guys. And these visions are just amazing. I hope that this reading finds all who will resonate with it, all who will be given that hope and that joy from these messages, these beautiful messages that are coming through. And I hope to see you all again in the next reading. If you would like to join me on Instagram, that is where you can purchase a personal reading from me, as well as my twin flame manifestation affirmations. All of that information will be in the video description box. So I do hope to see you all on Instagram as well, but if not, I will definitely talk to you again in the next reading video. Good night, guys.